Guys, I have wanted to share. I wanted to share a couple thoughts that I had that I've kind of been dwelling on. That have been on my mind. We've unfortunately seen an increase in members talking about their mental health struggles, and unfortunately, we've seen implications on posts of members uh, that have threatened self harm or perceive that that might be their next route or committing suicide, and it's devastating. It's hard to read. We Because of these events, I felt like I've got some things on my mind that would be easiest to convey in a video. First off, statistically speaking, about 10% of people who have COVID become long haulers. You and I are in that 10%. Here we are. We've got about 900 members dotted throughout the state of Idaho, and I know it's only a small fraction of what some long haulers have, or how many long haulers are out there. In addition to that 10%, so now working with the entire population of long haulers, 20% of us are struggling with mental health illnesses. And so far to even say that we're suffering from depression. And that's difficult. And so seeing it happen in our group kind of prompted me to want to make a video and just share some quick thoughts. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I wanted to share a few quick things. Number one that I wanted to share is we've gone through traumatic events. It's perfectly fine to say that what long COVID is traumatic. A year ago to this day, I could run 3 to 5 miles 3 to 5 times a week in 30 minutes. My lungs were good. I felt like I mean, I wasn't a strong man, but I was fit. And July 25th of last year, it all changed. What my body went through was a traumatic event. It wasn't used to it, and my body didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to respond, and that weighs on you mentally. I know I'm not alone when I say that either. I feel very fortunate that what I went through wasn't as severe as what I've read other long haulers deal with. But we, as long haulers, have been through a traumatic event, and with trauma comes trying to process that mentally, and that's not always easy, especially if you were maybe struggling mentally before this just compounds the issue. I wanted to encourage you, number two, to find someone in the group that you can befriend, someone who you feel comfortable with turning to and saying, hey, today's a really hard day. I just need someone to talk to. And if you're that friend, be open, be a listening ear to them. If there's anyone who understands what you're going through, it's in this group. Whether you pick one of someone who interacts with your posts frequently, or someone that you know as a neighbor, uh, me or one of the admins, but find someone that you feel comfortable turning to and saying, today's a hard day. I'm having a hard time, and have that shoulder to cry on. With that, I also give a word of caution that I hope um, that you can identify when professionals need to get involved. We're not medical professionals in this group. We're not qualified counselors or therapists or anything like that. If you're really struggling, and especially if you are starting to have suicidal thoughts, please turn to professional help. Call your doctor. Go to emergency room. Call a suicide hotline, and say, "Hey, I'm having a hard time." They're qualified. They're experts. They're professionals. They're going to help you. Um, I would hate to see one member of this group lost to suicide, and I know that would be very difficult for me, and that'd be very difficult for everyone in this group to lose you as a group member. That would be hard. Um, no, my DMs, if you will, are always open. If you need someone to talk to, message me. Uh, I'll share my phone number with you. You can text me. I'm here. If you just need to text me and let it all out. I'm a judgment free zone. And I know my admins are that way, and there's a lot of group members in this group who are that way too. Um, Lastly, the last thing that I want to share is really just comes from a quote from one of my idols, if you will. A lot of us grew up admiring this man or watching this man, Mr. Rogers. He's gosh, if you need a good movie to watch It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks. I think he does a good job in showing who Mr. Rogers was. But anyways, this quote comes from him, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It says, "There's no person in the whole wide world like you, and I'd like you just the way you are." I am extremely appreciative that you have found this group and that you felt comfortable enough to pop in and say, I need help. That's why I created it. That's how I found it. A year ago, I guess 2 months into my post-COVID diagnosis, said, I don't know what in the world is happening to me, and I need help. And I found a group, the Utah COVID Long Hauler group that Lisa runs, that was a lifesaver for me and caused me to start this Idaho group. We understand. We know what you're going through. If you need a friend, we're here for you. If you need somewhere to vent, this group is a perfect place to do it. If you need recommendations, this group is a perfect place to do it. At the same time, too, like I mentioned earlier, a word of caution is learn to recognize when you need professional help. When you start feeling those suicidal tendencies kick in, if you start feeling like you're going to harm yourself, or life is worthless, or you can't find that motivation to continue on with life, you've got the suicide hotline. Call your doctor. Find someone who can take care of you. If you feel like you're in an immediate danger to take your life, go to the emergency room. Protect yourself, because the world is better with you in it. And being a long hauler doesn't make it easy. This isn't an easy path we're on, but I promise you, it's so much better having you here than if you were not here. I know I prefer to have you here, and to think of losing one member to suicide is heartbreaking. With that being said, those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas of how we can make this group better, my messages are open. Send one to me. Send one to